came to look at a house that was flooded about a week ago, one of the worst storms in history in the low country, and the drywall is wet. We're gonna remove the drywall because behind the drywall is insulation and your wood stud. You can't get that to dry out without removing the drywall. Don't let the insurance company fool you. This is a scam they like to do. This will turn to black mold. It has to be removed if it's this wet. So we're gonna run to the store, get some plastic and barricade off a little capsule area and remove the drywall. I'm ready. Got the plastic, got the mask, got the mold control. Let's go remove some drywall. This is one of the walls in the house that is just soaked. It was running down here, pouring under this wood floor, which is now trash. But anyways, to make my point validated to the insurance company who fights you with water, right? This is a moisture meter, and if it goes to red, it's more than 33% wet. This is just soaked everywhere I go. It's the worst case scenario. It's perfect out here where the 2x4 is. It's fine right there. But you can see where it ran all the way down. I'll bet my life, yeah, it is absolutely drenched behind this wall, and it is turning to mold by the second. And this is the other side of the wall that you can't even see. Okay, just this is coming out for right now. Let's cover this off like we're in a murder scene and take this out. Okay, so I've got plastic all the way around me, but look at right here. There's a drywall saw. It is still to this second. Oh boy. This could be worse than I thought. It is saturated back there. See the insulation? See this back here? And you could bring it out with water. That's what the insurance company. Oh man. It is just crumbling, soaking wet. I didn't use a power saw because I don't know the home at all. And right away I lucked out. That's a water line right there going somewhere. So let's just take it off by hand. I didn't know it was going to crumble up this bad. This is awful. I'm going to get a mask. Hold, please. Right back at it. Huh? Doesn't take much to take off wet drywall. If you can get behind it, and it's this wet, you can get it off in pretty good pieces. Insulation's soaking wet. Drywall's still soaking wet. See the wood here? That is so wet, it would have never dried unless you take the drywall out and the insulation out. Drenched in water, and that's the beginning of your black mold right there. I removed all the wet drywall, the wet insulation, and to prove my point, let's take the moisture meter. I mean, that's a 23% right there. These beams are absolutely soaked. That sheathing is absolutely saturated. No matter where I go, there's a lot to be done here. So on with the insurance company, but probably gonna have to move these people out and tear out a lot more than they thought possible. This is a disaster. What am I? Even I'm bad. Crazy. Okay, so I'm back to the flooded house. The whole thing gets completely screwed up. FEMA comes in, determines that 2 feet of drywall and insulation on the whole house has to come out. They cut it out. It's been dried out for more than 2 weeks. FEMA gives the blessing, put it back together. So a sheet of drywall is 4 by 8. That's where they cut it. Just a little under 2 feet. So hopefully you get 2 strips out of every sheet of drywall. But my first task is I'm just going to cut up a bunch of insulation and staple it the right way. So I think I'll just cut some 24-inch pieces or 27-inch pieces and staple it back in. So putting back the house together 101, insulation, which sucks, and then drywall, and then tape, and then paint, and then the millwork comes back in. So every house in the Low Country has this problem right now, and I'm just one guy trying to fix it, one house at a time. We got our R13 face insulation. Yeah, that's my day. I'm gonna cut a bunch of them. I'll give it 26 inches. And I know that I can just cut that whole bag at 26 inches because the whole house is in need. Number one. Number two. Trust me when I say this is going to be a long day. If you're watching this and you're looking for the how-to, I'm Brian Gurry, and I'm telling you to put a mask on and gloves and a safety harness and a hard hat and some caution tape around you and maybe bubble up the whole f***ing house. Yeah, anyway, that's not real life. I cut up, I don't know how many, I just got tired of cutting, so now let's just put a few on. I don't have to staple it, but I just think it's a better job all the way around. Your contractor, when you're not at home, he probably isn't stapling it. So I just, oh, that's a good start. Really? I'm out of staples? Oh, they had some in here. Are you kidding me? Okay, so the staple gun's jammed. That's a great start to my day. I thought it was gonna go smoother than this. Really, I'm about to take one. So when you wonder why the contractor didn't do much during the day, it's because he spent 3 hours with a staple gun. It's still jammed. I got like 5 days of this, and right now, this is something I don't need. I should have been a fucking plumber. Oh my God. So, other than getting the drywall ready, we're just about there. Under the windows, I'm gonna use some spray-in insulation. Oh yeah. I like this stuff just because it expands and you don't have to put insulation into little cracks. You can just cover it. It just makes me feel good. Not too much. You just want to fill the gaps in there. I like to overuse this stuff everywhere. So I had my one meltdown for the day. Fix the stapler, get the insulation, get the drywall. It's not easy. All right, so insulation's done. Caulking across the bottom. Did about everything I want to do. Cut it a little bit loose, 23.5. Came into this world hanging drywall, so 23.5, simple enough. So let's take my time. Got moisture control board here because of where we are. Should have been done that way the first time. So there you go. I'm gonna cut it to the width while it's still up and make it easy on myself. So if you're gonna hang drywall at home, even as a homeowner, 10 bucks, get a T-square. You need it. Got it. So there's no boxes, there's nothing to cut here. Just score it a little bit. And then snap it with your knee. I already cut this way. Drywall 101. Nothing to it. Okay, so it has to be drywall taped and painted. I don't mind marking the studs, because that's going to be covered up in mud anyway. Now there's no guessing where the screws go. Oh yeah. Like a glove. Damn, I'm good. So we got a drywall gun. Just taking my time, I mark my studs. You know, on the bottom plate, you can't miss the bottom, so you can go any way you want. Technically, we have put our first sheet of many back into the house. Now it's getting a little tricky. I've got boxes to cut out, electrical boxes to cut out. So that's going to be my right side of the wall. This is going to be the floor down here. I mark it at 26 5/8 and 30 3/4, because that's where those two sides of the box are. I will use my trusty $10 T-square, and then I measured up from the floor exactly where it is. So if I'm doing it right, and I cut out this box, I'll be psyched. I got a drywall saw, pretty simple to use. It's sharp. I'm in no rush at all. Box out. Let's hope I did it right. I cut that out. That one's cut so tight, even I'm impressed. I'm just take my knife and trim the bottom a little bit so the electrician doesn't come along with a hammer and start pounding the crap out of it. And I really, there you go. Oh, broke the blade. If I didn't do that, the electrician would come around, he'll say it doesn't fit, he'll start smashing it, and I'll have to, perfect. It's like a glove because I'm a pro. So there you go. We tore the old out, we dried it out. We put the insulation in the proper way, even though the stapler gave me a hard time, I got over that. We insulated, we drywalled with moisture resistant drywall, and now the fun begins. We still have to tape, right? 3 coats of tape, then paint, then millwork back. So we're not even close to done, it's just one more phase done. Drywall 101 over. That stunk today. Okay, it's time to start taping, mudding, call it what you want. I'm not great at it. I can put the first coat on and usually have a painter or somebody who's better do the second and third coat. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that all the screw heads are in flush. And if they're not, if they're sticking out a little, just give them a little smack. You want them to be recessed, for sure. Lightweight compound, I'm a big fan of. This is about $3 to put the compound in. It's much easier to scoop it out with your knife than it is out of the bucket. So, you can use a couple different drywall tapes. I like the self-sticking mesh tape. And people go back and forth. Everybody has their own preference on drywall tape. I just I got used to using this. There's paper tape, there's mesh tape. This is mesh. The lightweight's always wet enough for me. People add water to it, they get crazy with it. It says on some of them not to add water. I don't know if this one does or not. The knife is much wider than the tape itself. So I'm just putting a lot on to get it covered really well. I'll tell you why in 2 seconds. I don't want to miss anything here. I'm going a little bit heavy. Yeah, I get a little Picasso in me, don't tell me. Yeah, what's up now? Right to the door edge. Okay, so now I know that that mesh tape is covered, and I know I pressed it in good enough. Now, a little bit of pressure, believe it or not, I'm going to try to take most of the mud back off. Remember, this is a 2 at a minimum, 3 coat system that you have to do. And if you're not great at it, like me, there's a lot of sanding or wet sanding. I like to use a sponge and not a piece of sandpaper because I'm not a big fan of the dust. Okay, so you can play with it forever. That's close enough for me. That's its first coat. Run around with the screw heads. That one sticks out, you can hear the knife hit it. You're putting it on and taking it completely off. That hit too, so get it in there. It can't stick out. There you go, nice and. You're getting it all off. Screw heads you probably have to do once, maybe twice, never 3 times. It's just the seams that you have to do 3 times. Right away into a little bit of a tricky situation is corners. You gotta get both sides done. Doing the corners are a pain in the butt. Get it close, tuck it in. Nice. A little long, who cares? And now, I'm just gonna get mud on both sides. I see plenty of people taping, and I think they've got the work cut out for them. They leave it on too thick. You come back to sand it, it's gonna seem easy. You leave it on too thick, you're gonna be sorry. I don't have to go that low because the baseboard will cover up to here, but just to keep it all uniform, why not? There, I'm out of the corner. I'm off and running. Okay, so this is just about dry enough. I just want to show you wet sanding. I took a cloth instead of a sponge, but instead of sanding it and there's dust everywhere, if you wet sand it and just sort of knock down those edges, you can see that it just smooths out by itself. You can take off some of the excess compound over here. But right now, that's wet sanding at its finest. You're gonna make yourself look pretty good. Now, took down all those big lumpy areas. I'm not gonna go too wet. Leave it alone, let it dry, put another coat of compound on, wet sand again. Nice and smooth now, you're ready for your second coat. And then a screw head right here, you can take off everything around it. Right, that's ready to be painted. When that dries, you won't even find that screw head. Right back at it. I did the drywall so good because I'm an expert that I don't really have to tape around the box. There's plenty of room for error around the box. So if you did screw up the box, you could just take a piece of this tape, put it right next to it, and then tape over just like I'm doing. So. Hear that noise? Now you don't. What? That's right, take that. So if you're in the trade, everybody likes to blame everybody. So it's better that you have the painter do the finishing touches to your drywall tape so he has nobody to chat except for his own wife and kids. Should be putting this back on every time. Nice. I'm just putting a little extension of the bad drywall, and that dries all in. We can give it a little sand. It will look like the drywall was like the best in the world. Oops. So rehab work sucks in general. These are some of the reasons why right here. What? What happened? Hold on. What the? I don't know what happened here, like a little blowout here. It does get a little boring taping. I think most of the guys that tape get high. Have a few beers. I don't know. I don't get high, but if I was ever gonna start, it would be because I'm taping all day. Just for the record, I hate to insulate. I hate to drywall. I hate to tape. I am in construction, and I'm not good at electrical. I don't do plumbing. What the hell do I do? I'm gonna have to think about that. Well, this room has officially got its first coat. Iced coffee, here I come. There you go. This room has its official first coat on it. So tape, sand, tape, sand, tape, sand till you get it right. Have the painter finish it up. Everybody's happy. I need a break.